Hello, welcome back to Who's This Guy, now featuring Microphone Stand. Don't get any big ideas, this is my show. It's been just over 10 years since Knack's release, and oh boy, this little guy's experienced more turbulence than a turtle in a tumble dryer. So much hatred from all sides saying, "You suck, Knack! You control so badly, your graphics are awful, your story is such hot trash." Is it all justified though? Is Knack really a stain on the history of gaming? Could it be that we've been memeing it up all these years, making video after video mocking this little pile of bricks, while he sits in prison an innocent man? No. See, I've never played Knack before, and rather than jump on the hatred train just cause, I wanted to play this thing from start to finish and find out what's really going on. Here we go. Chapter 1. Oh no. How did we get here? The first thing that struck me when launching into Knack was a deep existential dread of what the hell am I doing with my life? The second thing that struck me was how much this art style presentation and voice acting reminds me of an after-school kids TV show. Considering this was meant to be a showpiece for the power of the PlayStation 4, I can see how people at the time were pretty underwhelmed. With these bargain basement, bought it from an unknown eBay seller knockoff version of Pixar characters, super basic boxy linear environments, and a story that feels like it was yelled down the hallway at an intern at 4:30 p.m. on a Friday. Goblins are attacking. This guy wants to fight them using robot. This other guy wants to use Knack. This guy will turn evil or some shit at some point. Tell the character artist that make this guy look really evil, so when he does betray everyone, it's really obvious and everyone will see it coming. Okay? Hey, have a great weekend. See ya. Bye. Needless to say, you will be neither moved nor impressed by this story. It also manages the astounding feat of being somehow super simple and cliche, while also being bewilderingly confusing. For a game that feels like it's about 4 times longer than it should be, it also feels like important scenes have been cut out. Bad guy Victor gets killed here, I think. It's not very clear, and then we just never see him again. Maybe we're meant to assume he morphs into this end boss. They'd never explain any of that. I have no idea. Why is this Fabio wannabe romantically carrying one of the bad guys at the end of the game while the credits roll? No clue. If you know the answers to the above, please let me know below, because this shit has been keeping me up at night. There's a compressed, ugly cutscene every 5 minutes, not to mention these weird, awkward, silent cutscenes where the characters just look at each other, or when Knack jumps down a ledge for the 1000th time. There's also a bunch of quote-unquote emotional character moments that don't land at all because these characters do not have personalities. Knack himself is a charisma void. Aside from occasionally saying things like, "Oh yeah, that's more like it," he just does whatever this weirdo tells him to. And yeah, this game looks bad. The lighting is flat, the textures are blurry, and these characters are so ugly. Why does the young version of this guy look so different to the older model? It's not like you're making a movie and you have to cast 2 different actors. You can control this. The only thing I found mildly impressive visually was the way that you can push all your bits around when you transform into Stealth Knack, but then I guess that's actually a feat of physics, so strike that from the list. If you're coming to Knack for story and presentation, probably best to just stay in that revolving door and head back on out. Chapter 2. Good gameplay. Sarcasm intended. Fortunately, graphics and story are not everything. Gameplay is what really matters, and here it comes to save the day for Knack. One sec. Oh, you're not coming? Are you sure? Mate, I don't think anyone else is coming. No, graphics didn't show up and neither did story. I think they're at the Red Dead party. Okay, bye. Sorry about that. Where was I? Knack, a third-person action game that released in 2013, does not let you move the camera. At least 2 Human had the dignity to release in 2008, and not being able to move the camera was a travesty back then. Instead, our right stick is used for maybe the world's least responsive dodge, which makes Knack stand completely still and remain uncontrollable for just long enough to make sure you still get hit afterwards. This dodge is the equivalent of jumping out of the way of a car only to immediately get hit by a bus. I will say there's a decent sense of oomph when you land a hit on enemies, even if a lot of the times it looks like 2 stunt people getting filmed from the wrong angle. Let's take that one again, guys! When you're big boy Knack, there's some very sloppy enjoyment to be had as you're able to stomp around and smash up the environment in a limited kind of way, but it's super basic and it's not like the laggy, mushy controls change for these bits. Did I mention this jump is giving Sonic Unleashed a run for its money and feeling awful? Combine this with some horridly designed platforming sections and you've got some real tasty melted dairy to play through. Oh god, I think I just realized I'd rather play Sonic Unleashed than Knack. At least that game had some gameplay variety instead of just like run, combat arena, die, 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 die. What's with all the dying, Sam? Oh, Knack's difficulty is weird, man. You look at this and think, it's a kid's game. But best of luck getting through this shit. The laggy controls, awful combat encounter design, and enemies that seem like they were created in a lab called Piss You Off Incorporated, combined to create an experience where I was dying and screaming at the TV more than when I finished Returnal. Everything in here from a gameplay standpoint genuinely feels like it was implemented to irritate rather than entertain. Nothing here is really fun to fight against or maneuver around. It all just feels like a nightmarish slog, which I guess mirrors the journey of our heroes, but I'm here to enjoy my knockoff Pixar game, not revel in the brutality of struggle. I thought this was called Knack, not bloody Demon Souls. Who the hell did they make this game for? Knack is way too silly for adults to take seriously, but the gameplay would be too tedious and boring for kids. Knack, a game for no one. Chapter 3. Wait, haven't I seen this before? The very worst sin Knack commits is that it's so unbelievably repetitive and so transparently padded to add length to a game they clearly felt was too short. So they went in and copy-pasted everything in here 3 to 4 times each. Wave after wave of irritating enemies, quote-unquote puzzles that seem designed to just waste your time. Exact level layouts repeating ad nauseum. Knack, I know you're trying to tell me this is a forest and this is a mine, but I see what you're doing. The thing I actually said the most while playing through Knack though was, how is this thing still going? Knack only lasts around 10 to 12 hours depending on how thorough you are. I almost didn't make it. The final boss itself is such an unpleasantly, horribly long and difficult for all the wrong reasons encounter that I very nearly put the controller down and said, that'll do, I've got the footage I need, I don't ever want to see this game again. I think if I see these stupid characters' faces again, I'll go into a fugue state. I'm done. But I was so close, so I pushed on, and at last I bloody did it. Knack was done. I walked outside. It's over. Chapter 4. I just don't understand most things, but Knack in particular. Can I remind you again that this is a kid's game? That I played on normal, and I've 100% of Returnal, finished up Dead Cells, Cuphead, Hollow Knight. Like, I'm no speedrunning ninja or anything, but I'm not a slouch when it comes to game difficulty, and getting through Knack was arduous and draining. The repetitious nature of the combat, the horrible checkpointing, and this fun feature where it seems to only save at the start of each chapter, meaning I came back to it one night and had to repeat about 45 minutes. All of these things combine to make me say that Knack is easily, definitively, without doubt, the single most unpleasant gaming experience I've ever had. There are so many dichotomies that make no sense. The stupidly simple story that looks, feels, and sounds like it was designed for children combined with the punishing combat. Characters that are in conflict with the bad guys but then wander off romantically with them at the end. Seriously, can anyone explain this to me? I must have missed something. Even having the game end with Knack dancing to How You Like Me Now. Were they that delusional about this game's quality that they thought this was a bitching song choice? And then Knack bows at the end of this, and you're like, don't bow, I'm not applauding you, you particle I honestly went into this wanting to like Knack. It's great for content to get pissy at games, but ultimately I think we all want games to be great, and I was really trying to find some greatness in Knack. But at the end of this journey, I've come to a shocking realization. I think Knack is even worse than its reputation. After playing it front to back, top to bottom, collecting almost everything, exploring the levels, watching every cutscene all the way through, I think that over time the actual detail has been lost in a storm of memes, jokes, and jabs. The thing is though, when you spend proper time with the game, that's when the nitty-gritty details become apparent. The bizarre design choices, the busted controls, the characters with as much depth as microphones stand here, trying to keep his self-esteem down. So as the haze of the 10-year Knackiversary starts to clear, let's remember Knack, not for the cheap laughs, but for what it actually is, a really, really, really bad game. Thanks so much for watching my video, everyone. I really did hate Knack, but I love that it exists because it means games exist and games are awesome. If you've enjoyed this, you'll probably like this one here as well. My name's Sam. Thanks again and see you soon.